Hi there. I thought we would talk a little bit about Microsoft Office Windows 365 Pro Enterprise BPOS. For those of you who are expecting a technical explanation of anything, no. I'm going to talk about the hard stuff, Microsoft naming. For those of you who have been around for a while, you may remember when Office 365 didn't exist, and instead we just had Microsoft Office. Maybe a standard or professional and a couple other versions, but Microsoft Office. But then they came up with a holding product which they called BPOS, Business Productivity Online Services, primarily a way to do email based in the cloud. It was the precursor to Office 365. Well, in 2010, they decided, no, we need to call it something new, and they called it Office 365. Okay, what's included in Office 365? Well, Office. Or someone could buy Office, or they could rent off. Okay, fine, great. How do we go search for it? Do we go search for something that's really unique and useful, like BPOS, BPOS? No confusion there. No. Instead, we're going to go search for Office, but Office 365, but we're talking about Office in Office 365. So does that Office? No, whatever. Okay, confusing, but we'll get through it because there's just two things, Office 365 and Microsoft Office, and really one's a container and the other is just a licensing question. Okay, so this should be fine. I really hope whoever's transcribing my script here has time on their hands and maybe a bottle or two. Okay, so fine, we're good. This 2010, Office 365 takes off, boom, to the moon. All right, 2017 runs around, and now Microsoft said, let's add some other licensing to it and make Office 365 a subset of a bigger thing. Oh, and by the way, remember, Office is a subset of Office 365. Okay, what do we call the bigger thing? We call it BPOS Junior? No. Microsoft Bob? It was a great while it lasted. No, it wasn't. No. We're going to call this one Microsoft 365. So keep in mind that technically it's Microsoft's product already. So you've got Microsoft 365. And since Office 365 is a subset of that, you've got Microsoft Office 365. And you've got Office that you can get through that. So you've got Microsoft Office 365 Office. This is fantastic. And if you've been paying attention to the news lately, now you know there's a new thing, which is a new, really kind of interesting and kind of cool, but that's not the topic for today, way of virtualizing desktops in a really controlled, manageable way. And what are they calling it? They're calling it Windows 365. Which includes a lot of the Microsoft 365, which includes a lot of the Office 365, which includes Office. Where the heck is the house that Jack built? Bottom line, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and Microsoft is doing everything they can to make the naming confusion. Even that was confusing. The bottom line is Microsoft has a lot of cool technologies out there, and this latest, the Microsoft 365, actually looks pretty promising. But I wish somebody would actually sit down and talk to them and give them the therapy they need, because that's the only conclusion I got as far as naming conventions for their products and their services, especially when they end up being containers of each other. So tell me, what's your favorite Microsoft naming? And don't get me started about Sharepoint. Comments below.